what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Francois Podcast.
Hey, peace to the planet. What's happening, y'all? Listeners, everybody in podcast land, what's going on? What's happening?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We hope that you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope that it was filled with love and bliss and all that good stuff, all that jazz. We had a great one.
Yeah, we went to sleep on the couch.
All right. Moving on. Thank you for coming.
That was dope, though. I liked it. I had Chipotle. The good stuff.
Did we have Chipotle?
Yeah, I was like, damn, your memory is bad.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember sleeping on the couch. I don't think we had Chipotle, though.
You definitely had Chipotle. That was the best part of the night.
Damn.
Okay. I mean, not like that. You know what I mean? Not like that.
All right.
But
Anywho, I hope you had a great Valentine's Day.
I don't eat Chipotle like that.
Welcome back. If you are a first-time listener, we welcome you. Make sure you're a part of the family. Please listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and furthermore, you will be able to just leave your feedback and all of your suggestions and more on our Instagram page on our latest post at the Francois Podcast. So we have a special episode for you guys, and it's called Couples Night, meaning we have special guests with us. We would like to welcome the Mortons.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, out there. What's up?
We're excited to have you on the show.
Our first guest.
Our very
officially.
first guest.
Now, look, no shade
You guys
to
set
everybody.
in the bar.
No shade to everybody that has asked us so far. We're going to properly do this correctly. No, listen.
You didn't have to say
No, what I'm
that,
saying
though.
is, like, because people have asked, like, it started to get to a point where people are asking.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to plan it out accordingly as we close out the season and start the next. Then we're going to start to incorporate more guests going forward. So just know that your time is coming.
Okay. Well, being that you are our first guest, we are completely excited and eager to pretty much get a second pair of minds with us as we dive deep into our topic tonight. So feel free to be open. Well, you guys are already open, so it's not even like, just be yourselves pretty much and just have fun with it. Of course, we're having fun. So it's kind of like our regular couples night that we usually have with them anyway. But let's get into that.
Cool.
Hey, Mortons.
What's up?
Martins. Hey, Mortons.
Minus the Henny.
Come on, get it right. Yeah.
Minus the Henny, pretty much.
Minus the Hennessy.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it clean tonight.
Yeah, pretty much.
We got a prayer to do at the end.
Let's just talk about how we know each other. Introduce yourselves first.
Okay. I'm Jeff Morton,
And I'm Naja Morton.
and we have been married for 3 years. I'm just joking.
Whoa,
4 years.
whoa,
I'm just joking.
Yo, he's starting off on the wrong
You
foot.
gotta get
We've been
those
married
numbers
for
right.
4 years. Okay, 4 years. Right. We met at church, and I kind of just scooped up and bagged her. You know how it go?
Talk that talk,
You
King.
know how it go?
That talk,
There's
King.
debate about how that actually went down.
Let's talk about it.
That's okay, man.
Let's dive
I
deep
bagged
into
my
the
wife too.
beginning.
Back to
No.
episode 1.
Episode 1 was our beginning,
Okay,
so
here we
let's
go.
talk about your beginning.
Oh, gosh.
Uh-huh.
So I'm in church, right? You feel me?
Facts.
Right.
Right.
And I'm new to
Not
the church.
focusing on the Lord. Anyway, continue.
Ooh.
Okay, he's wrong.
Pause. Pause. Proverbs 31, you know, he finds a wife finds a good thing. So
Right.
I was focused on something.
Talk that talk.
So I was in church, whatnot, and we had like a youth night for Black History Month.
There we go.
And every youth in the church had to do something, present something, either like a praise dance or read something. They had to participate somehow. So I had to read an excerpt from either Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or somebody. I don't recall what it was exactly.
Somebody light skinned, basically.
Probably, right? So I sit there, I go up there, read my excerpt and everything, and when I sit facing the rest of the congregation, like in the choir stand, so everybody can see me, and I can see all of them. So then Naja comes up shortly after me, and she's doing a praise dance, and now she had been away at college for like maybe 5-6 months, so I had just gotten there. I never met her before.
You guys met in college.
No.
While you were in college.
She was in
Well,
college.
I was
was
a junior.
rascling around
was
still.
I a junior in college?
You were a junior in college, okay.
Yeah, I was just a junior dropout in college.
We,
It's cool though.
we ain't judging you, King.
Nope.
It's all love.
So I had joined the church, and I hadn't been in church, all my life at all. So I just came and found this church and joined it. And she had been there all her life. So she was away at college. I'm doing my little presentation. I sit back down. She comes for a praise dance. And I'm like, oh, wait, I ain't see her yet. Like, not that I'm at church, like, scoping out chicks and nothing like that. But like, I was really focused at this time. So I really wasn't on that level. So even when she was praise dancing, right, I was so focused on trying to be right with God that I was trying not to look at it too much because I'm like I was attracted to it, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I was trying my best to be like, you know what, let me just curb this right now. Because for one, everybody in the congregation can see me, right? So like if I'm over there staring at her looking all crazy, it's like, what Jeff looking at like that hard? So exactly. So I was trying to just like, you know, keep my head down, look at my Bible and everything and just chill. But then after service.
She was dancing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even though everyone is looking.
Yeah, but everybody's looking, but they don't got the same thoughts and intents in their head. Oh. So, but you're my wife now, so I mean, you know, I talk that talk.
Okay.
So at the church, I don't know how this really happened, but someone introduced us together, and you know,
that someone was my mother.
All right, then you take over from here.
See, this is how you know he didn't.
I said it got blurry. Whoa.
So after the service was over, my mother comes up to me, and, you know, we're talking, and I inquired, like, who is that guy sitting up in the choir stand who did that Martin Luther King or some other light-skinned person presentation? And she's like, oh, that's Jeff. Let me introduce you to him. So we made our way over to you, and, you know, she was just like, oh, like, Jeff, this is my daughter Naja. Naja, this is Jeff. And then I believe your mother came over as well, so I got to meet her.
Yeah.
So basically the moms hooked them up.
So, no. It gets, further on, I slide into her DM later, so it gets, yeah. Well, it was on Facebook back then, because this was before Instagram was popping like that, so.
Yeah, we were on Facebook. That was Facebook.
We old school, too.
Yeah. But by the end of the night, like, there were friend requests on Facebook from him and his mom.
See?
Oh, my Lord.
And then I took the initiative to send you a message first. I sent you this really long message.
Okay.
A long, formal dissertation. Like, so my response to her long, formal dissertation was, I hope you're not always this formal.
Well, listen,
What was the dissertation containing?
I mean, basically, I can't remember. I feel like we might have had some discussion before. I can't quite remember. It's a little
So
fuzzy.
you were just
but
following
then
up.
it was like a follow-up and sort of like a, you know.
Hi, this is who I am. Let's get to know each other kind of thing.
Okay.
But it was just like super formal though.
I don't remember. We got to dig it up.
We could read
it's
it.
on the internet somewhere.
We could read it.
The long dissertation right
but
now?
Not right now.
I was going to say,
I'm going to post it in the comments for y'all.
Okay. Let me know. Yes, he's going to post it on our YouTube page, so go ahead and go check that out.
But, yeah, I responded back to her, and then we just started talking, and obviously seeing each other at church. And then one day her mom invited me over to have dinner with them. Mm-hmm. And that's what sealed the deal. You know, I'm a food kind of person. So
my mother cooked so good that he wanted to stay around, basically. Because I didn't cook, y'all. I'm not even going to lie.
No,
my
she
mother
didn't
made
cook.
everything, and
yeah.
He was nice and happy and hooked.
But what was the intent of that invite? Like, from your mom?
This is what I'm saying. I feel like our mothers were excited to see that we were, you know, like the same age, and, you know, even though like Jeff wasn't in school at the time, but like, you know, he was in the process of like really growing in the Lord, and, you know, I had been in church since I was a kid, so like I had a certain mindset of who I wanted to be in my space. I think they were just excited for us, knowing that, you know, we had both said things to our mothers like, oh, like, who's this? Or, oh, who's that? Like, so they knew
where the connect.
They knew there was an attraction.
They pretty much.
That's not how I remember it.
Yeah, he wants to take credit.
I
I think our moms had a bigger role than
that's incredible.
You actually.
Can you imagine?
Maybe.
If you know what, if my mom picked you, I don't know if I would do it.
But the thing is too, though, like
she ain't picked me.
But you know what? I will say, I will say,
arranged marriage.
Well, whoa. So, all right. So I'm gonna drop this down on y'all.
Okay.
For one. So I didn't tell many people this, especially before we got married. Mm-hmm. But literally, while he was doing his presentation, see, I didn't get a chance to talk because he was telling y'all his version of things.
Oh, how bad.
But, which has yet to be proven. But anyhow, when he was doing his presentation, I remember sitting here thinking to myself, like, oh, who is this? You know, same sort of thing. Like, never seen this guy before. And granted, yeah, I was off at college, but, you know, it's a small church family, so everybody knows each other. So for me not to have seen him at all, even in, you know, 2 months or 3 months time was unusual. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who is this guy? He's up there, he's doing his thing. And I heard the Lord drop into my spirit that he's going to be yours. And I didn't know what to make of that. One, because, like, I didn't even know his name at that point. You know, I am not a love at first sight kind of person. Like, not to say that it doesn't happen, but, you know, like, that's just hadn't been my experience up until that point. But I kept that to myself because, again, I was partly like, is this me? Is this you, Lord? I can't imagine why I would be thinking this. I have no reason to be thinking this. So I didn't mention anything about that for a long time.
Basically spoke to you.
Yeah, pretty much. But the way, so even when we're talking about, you know, who bagged who, in the very beginning, I mean, we went super duper slow. So much so to the point that even though I had heard that, it never was at the forefront of my mind, you know. It was living. We were just living and getting to know each other and became friends and, like, relished the friendship for a while. Like, we didn't officially start dating until so we met in February. We didn't start dating until what, July? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it didn't feel like we were trying to rush and jump into anything, even though my mother was cooking and, like, you know, it felt like everybody was excited about it, like maybe it would go somewhere, but I don't think we were necessarily trying to push it anywhere. Even though I still had that word that I had received, which was crazy.
God was working. God was working in all of it, especially if your mothers got together or they liked each other and they were, you know, they were in sync. It's amazing that you guys ended up together.
Yeah,
and God good. Hallelujah.
Won't he do it?
Awesome. Well, thank you for telling us your beginning story. And here we are now. Never look back. Right?
That's it. My ring ain't going nowhere.
That's it.
I think he lost his
I did lose it, but I found it. I lost it. She bought me a new one, but I found the original, so don't judge me.
Great. We're very happy about that. Did you have anything, babe?
Did you lose your ring one time?
I never lost my ring.
Oh, no, you didn't lost it, but you misplaced it a couple times.
I never misplaced it either.
No, you did, remember?
Okay. All right, next.
I found it.
She's in denial.
I actually found it.
Next.
That was a lot of money.
She's in denial.
Misplaced.
It's right here. Like, why are you dwelling on this?
Saying, like, my heart dropped for a little bit. Man.
Okay.
That was a hard day at work. That was a hard day at work that day.
Now she don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
Tell the story.
It cut deep.
There's no story to tell.
First of all, why was it even off?
Yo, what's going on?
She
right
even
now?
did her hair.
Like, you know, like I didn't want to get it dirty. I don't even know what you're talking about, actually.
Okay.
So, guys, what's your favorite episode? What is your favorite episode from this season so far?
Nasha?
You know what?
So I think my favorite episode was probably episode, I think, number 2, Love and War. I think that's the episode where you guys spoke a lot about relationship problems and arguments.
Yeah.
But it was also like a silver lining of funniness throughout it. And a lot of things were very relatable in my relationship. So I think I felt like I liked that one the most, honestly.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Since you love the episode so much, actually that was one of my favorites too.
Yeah, that was a good one. It got heavy.
Yeah.
Like towards the middle.
What was the middle?
No, I mean like when we got to talking about, I forgot which argument we were discussing, but it was one.
You know, there was an argument that I didn't bring up.
She's like, she ready to bring it up now.
I need to bring it up now.
See,
I feel like that's the one time I regretted not saying anything, but we've moved on.
That one was my fault, probably, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they are my fault, right?
Okay, what was the middle? I'm very curious to hear your thought.
What was it? No, I'm talking about the one with the one we had when we were having dinner, And I was pressing you to like talk. And he was like, I can't take it anymore. You just walked.
Oh, in the bathroom.
And you just went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And just closed the door.
Yeah. Have you
And I was
guys
just
ever
like-
had those type of moments where you just like you needed to run?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk about them?
I mean, like, in this moment, I can't think of what was the circumstance surrounding it, but, you know, I heard somebody say something once where they're like, before you say or do something that you know you can't take back or it's going to be, you know, that's going to change the relationship, like, you'd be better off just to remove yourself. And I think, I mean, not that we've had many of those, but certainly I do recall times where it's just like, all right, I'm just going to walk away because my feelings are about to get the best of me, and I know if I continue down this road, I'm going to say something that, you know, sure, I can apologize for later when things are calmer, but it's not going to undo whatever.
The damage.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Are you that type of arguer where you kind of just spit? Do you spit and mean it, or do you just spit and because it's like right in your mind?
I mean, I think because I'm a writer, I feel like when I do decide to speak, I'm very cautious about the words that I choose. I'm not the kind of person that's just going to rattle off and then be trying to backtrack or, you know, take back something. But even still, when I'm at a certain level of intensity, I feel like it'd still be in my best interest to remove myself. You know what I'm saying?
So you walk away. Or do you even dive in? Do you get into the nitty gritty? Do you like confrontation?
I wouldn't say I like it, but I'm the kind of person that things will stew.
That was a deep.
Yes, Lord, amen. Yes, I'm admitting it. Things will stew for me. Like, I might allude to something, and I may not address it right away, but then I feel it, like, growing and stewing and bubbling, and then eventually, you know, whether it's 10, 20, half hour later, I'll come back, and then I'll really start to get into what's bothering me and what the specifics are.
Okay. And what type of arguer are you, Jeff?
So I'm like Sebastian. We can argue or we can not argue, but in the morning, I'm going to be cool.
Facts.
Right? Like, she'd be upset with me about something. We'll have an argument about it. And then 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, I'm fine. She walking around the house, or she be in the shower for 45 minutes, like, trying to cool down. And I'm fine.
Okay.
So, I don't know what you call that.
You let it go and you're done.
I move on, yeah.
Well, you're also not an arguer. You know, I feel like unless I really
that's true,
press
probably
the
true.
conversation for us to dig into whatever, you know, the thing is, he won't do it.
My arguments are like ending with okay.
Always. And
Right.
it drives me up a wall.
Okay.
Just like,
So-
okay.
So you're
Our
not
argument-
the talker then?
No. Not that I
You're
can't
the
talk.
talker.
I just
Yeah.
don't usually have anything to say. Like, when she's mad at me, it's usually because I messed up on something, right? Like, she's upset about something I did, or perceived that I did, rather, right? And so she'll tell me all her feelings, and she'll be like, tell me why she's upset and everything at me, right? And then in her mind, she thinks I should apologize for something, right? For whatever I did.
I don't like this in her mind type of situation, but again, continue. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased because, you know.
But my response is usually, okay.
And see, the reason that bothers me is because I don't know if what I'm saying is translating.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, it's like, okay, I'm saying something. I want you to say something back to me so that I can tell you, yes, you're right on the nose, or no, let me find a different way to say it because that's not how I want you to interpret it. You know, when he just says okay, that I don't know if it's reading. I don't know if you're understanding where I'm coming from. I just feel like okay shuts down the conversation, and then therefore I don't know how to move on or to have closure, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I think it bothers me so much. I'd rather him go back and forth with me so we can be like, no, see, this is the misunderstanding, or this is where we got off course, as opposed to okay just being like,
Cool.
well, that's it, okay. You're mad, okay.
Sounds familiar. Okay. Okay. Well, okay.
See?
Well, I guess we passed the point of do you guys argue, because that was our question. And, of course, everybody argues in a relationship. Thanks for telling us how you guys are as arguers. I guess the next question I would have is, what was your dumbest fight?
Dumbest fight.
I can think of a very, very small, dumb one.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
So early on in our relationship, we were talking, having a conversation, and I called her a kid. Right? And she was like, "Don't call me a kid." And I was like, "Okay, you're a kid." So then she proceeded
To act like a kid.
Yeah, literally act like a child. And like it annoyed me so much that like I just called her mother and was like, "Yo, tell her to stop."
Yo.
Because like she's really getting on my nerves now.
Yeah.
And she just would not stop acting like that. Like she was mimicking me, repeating me, and she does it very. Can you show them how you mimic? You see what she just did? She's pretty good at this.
No way! That would piss me off.
Every time I'm trying to talk, she just repeat whatever I say. And she's good at it.
How's she so on point though? Like, yo, y'all been together too long. Like.
So yeah, no, this was early on, and it just pissed me
Wow.
off so much that I was just like, you know what, like, please tell her to stop. Like,
You definitely
please.
did call my mother.
Oh
I
my
forget
goodness.
about that.
And how was that resolved?
I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 hours later she stopped. But
Wait,
at that point,
no.
no, it
You
definitely
went
was a
on
long
for
time.
hours?
She did go on for hours, but then we stopped talking though on the phone, and then a couple hours later we reconnected.
married?
No, it's
Okay,
we were
this is
dating.
when we were
definitely dating. And
Oh,
we
yes,
got
yes,
back on the
yes,
phone,
yes.
and she was like, "All right, so don't call me a kid anymore, then, and I won't act like one."
Ooh.
And I don't use that word no more. I have
You
kids, but I
learned
don't.
your-
Yeah,
you
I call
learned
them
your
children
lesson.
now.
Lesson.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just came back.
Still hurts a little bit, but still
Yeah,
nice.
that's very annoying. Because she's obvious. You just see her. She's good at it. Like she just.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't the only thing I was doing. I was just. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it made me so upset. And I'm not sure if there was a context behind it, but
Yeah.
that really just got on my nerves. And then he said it again. And I'm like, okay, so you're not understanding that this is getting on my nerves. So now I'm going to get on your nerves. And I'm an actress, y'all, so,
Yes.
you know, for me to get into a character, like, oh, I'm going to be a kid, oh, now I'm going to annoy you, like that, you know. I just went down that road.
Yeah, she did.
You're sleepy?
Huh?
Your eyes are red.
They are?
Yes.
You over there playing with his ear, that's why.
Oh. Let me stop. Let me stop.
I noticed
No,
it
that's
too.
fine. No, that's my
I think that's
spot.
cool.
Comfy
You
over
know
there.
that's my spot.
All right, so we could get right into the topic of the night. Friends who are married.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start from the jump from the beginning. How do we know the Mortons? Well, do you want to take over?
Yes.
Jeff?
So me and Shelly met in 7th grade, right? 7th grade. And we kind of grew up being friends, really great friends in high school. And yeah, we've known each other since then. So then I also met Sebastien, right? Through Lawrence.
Oh, we do
Right.
have to talk about
So-
that. Okay.
Yeah,
Can I interject?
of course.
So
this is your podcast.
my friends, and I guess I am the same way too, are very territorial and they leap over boundaries. So no, actually you leaped over boundaries too.
I did.
Yeah, like they're so comfortable, and it's like I think when we met and we grew up together, we just formed this bondless family where it was just kind of like there's no boundary, there's no fine line, we just do whatever we want. So I met Sebastien, I think, almost a year now, and I was telling Jeff about Sebastien. Jeff had never met Sebastien yet, but I think Lawrence was working at this really big time.
Sony.
I think you're working at Sony, yeah.
Sony.
He was working at Sony, and I told Sebastien, but I told Lawrence about this too. So I told most of my friends about Sebastien. And so I told Sebastien about him working at Sony. So he felt like Sebastien thought that was his opportunity to get some type of record deal or just be on somehow. Because I had a friend who worked there. And so Sebastien reached out to Lawrence, and without me making the introduction or anything.
Well,
and
can we... There's something we're missing here, and I feel like we're still not on the same page with how we met.
Yeah, I don't think that they met because of you, though, right?
They did not meet because of me. You guys did not meet because of me.
Well, you talking about Lawrence?
Well, I met because Lawrence brought me along.
Okay, I was not a part of the meetup, though. Thank you.
But can we...
Let's get Sebastian's part of the story.
Yeah, because
he was actually there.
All right. So this is what I remember. In regards to meeting you and meeting Lawrence, this is I'm gonna go back. What was this? This got to be at least almost 7-8 years at this point.
We gotta shout him out. He said
Yeah, but the homie LC, what he knows, he already knows. Yeah. That's my guy. What's his name? Yeah, I met everybody. When I mean everybody, I met everybody. It was a one-stop shop for all your important people at Rose's graduation party. That's when I met everybody. I met
my brother's graduation party.
Yeah, my brother-in-law Mario. I met Greg there. I met Melissa there. I met like every friend that you ever had.
I think you have your timeline very confused.
How? How's it confused?
Because you did not meet them.
I did.
Before the party. I mean, at the party.
I remember meeting them at the party. Yeah. I remember saying, "Hi, I'm Sebastien" at the party.
Okay.
Like I'm talking like I'm dead. I really remember that.
Okay.
But what's again? What was the first time you?
Go ahead, say your story. I'm sorry.
No, I mean that's what was it. Like I met them there. Like and then after that. That's when I hit up Lawrence after that. Because if you look at... I still got the message. I was like, yo, man, remember me from the party? I was like, yada, yada. I'll throw that in there. Like, that was a part of the message. And then we went to the studio. He brought Jeff. That's when they met... No, in fact, I'm about to say that's when they met Olivier and Mo. Olivier and Mo were there at Rose's graduation party. You remember that? They were... Oh.
I don't know.
I remember that.
I remember that, actually.
I really remember meeting
I remember you having people with you.
Yeah, I had my brother and my cousin with me. Yeah, the same. And they were the same ones. They were the same ones at the studio, huh?
Did it happen before the sneaky introduced?
No, that sneaky thing happened afterwards because I said, yo, I hit him up saying, remember me from the party.
Okay, so
because I wouldn't just go to a random friend like.
And made a play date with my friends.
Play date.
And
it was a group meeting.
You didn't even tell me about it. Jeff called me and was like, oh, I just met him. That's what I remember.
I didn't tell you.
I don't think you told me until I was like, so you were just meeting my friends like behind my back, like what's happening? Like there's no formal introduction, no anything.
But there was a formal introduction. Okay, that's the thing. Like that. Like if you just said, yo, I had a friend that worked for Sony, I might have been a little bit more reluctant because like yo, I don't know him. But since we had that initial high, that's when I kind of felt comfortable to hit him up and be like. I don't think
that happened, but okay.
He was so you're telling, but they were you guys were there, right? You were at the party, so they were just there, and I just didn't meet them. Is that what you said?
That happened after the first meeting.
I thought
what was the first meeting?
After. I thought we met first at the studio. That's what I thought.
Because
I thought I didn't know you were her. I don't know.
Maybe you didn't know. Because like, all right, because when he graduated, that was early in the summer, right?
Yeah.
That meeting, I remember being later in the summer because I'm trying. Oh, you know why I know? That meeting was around the same time of, remember that performance we used to do in Garwood, New Jersey, at the Crossroads? Mm-hmm. That was always at the end of the summer. Mm-hmm. And that was the next day.
Okay.
So that's how I remember, for some reason I remember
I actually believe you now, because you're really good at that.
But, you know, come on, man. I've always been, my memory's weird. Really like, I'll forget what I had for breakfast, but then I'll remember something from like 18 years ago. I don't know, it's weird.
It's weird.
But like, that's what I remember.
Point is, you did it behind my back. Anyway, so he basically hit them up.
First of all, he met up with them. But if you say
LC,
but
I'm not an accomplice.
She told me I got a friend that worked for Sony. But then that's just it.
Okay, but you could have said.
What do you think I'm gonna do about that?
But since you said you met this friend already, right? You could have just said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me, sit down."
I don't know if I knew then.
I'm just saying. At that time, you said you had met him already, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Set up a meetup or whatever. You
wasn't about to. I think I was like, let me handle that myself. Like, I'll handle that. I was like, I got that.
Point proven.
You weren't impressed.
All right.
You didn't like the initiative. You didn't like the initiative.
I don't know. know if I wanted them to really be like.
What the? He's been my man ever since. Like nothing bad
I mean,
happened.
I don't know. I'm very,
We went out after that. We linked up with Lawrence a couple times. What the Fridays? What this party?
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened
Yeah.
while I was not
Yeah.
there. So he just basically hijacked my friends, and that's how they became cool.
We
And now we are
one
here.
big friendly happy circle.
Nasha
That's
and
what
I
happened.
met at my brother's
agree.
graduation, and that was the first time you and I had met.
Yep.
And what was it? 2012.
That was the year you got it.
That was the graduation year. So how long have you guys been together by then? Was it really?
We were together a year by then.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So then
That's when I met all your cousins too. All your cousins from Canada.
you met everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the
That was pretty
everybody
much
day.
half of the wedding at that party. It was everybody there. Everybody was there for that situation. So yeah, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Remember
We
what
are
you told me?
married now, and
Remember what you told me?
what I say?
Look nice, get your hair done, shape up. This now you're meeting if you're one of
Here we
the
go
first
again with
impressions,
this.
the main impression. Don't show up looking bummy, you
No
bum.
chucks.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no chucks. I did wear chucks too.
Oh God.
Pull up your
I
pants.
remember that Chuck conversation.
Little
Yes,
bum.
he remembers the chuck. I mean, I can't believe you even put those chucks on. I don't even remember you
First of
having
all,
those
it was
chucks.
new chuck. Like you think
It doesn't matter. You going in the wrong direction. Okay,
mean?
friends,
Actually, I had on white polo shoes.
friends who are married.
I had on white polo shoes actually.
Friends who are
It
married.
was white polo shoes.
Okay. Friends who are married. So the first subtopic of friends who are married is respecting time. Baby, would you like to dive deep in what you thought about this one?
You want respecting time? Oh yeah. What's her name? I think what's dope about having friends that are married is that so you guys share that similar like. I feel like your schedules are, I don't want to say they're kind of the same, but if I say, hey man, I gotta go, wife's calling me, like you just get it as opposed to like, oh man, you're killing the fun.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Oh well, I have a whole bunch of single friends, and then when I get that back call, it's like, all right, man. As opposed to like I'm talking to one of my guys.
Why does it have to be a back call?
Everybody knows it's the back call.
Why?
When they see them, when my phone's there, and they see Shelly, they start putting their coats on, zipping up, hoodies on, the hats on. It's
not
over,
even
done.
true. You
They turn the music on, lights on, everything's on. It's all over.
It's not even
It's all
true.
done.
That's a fact. They just know that this is the beginning of the end.
Do you guys relate?
It's the beginning of the end of the night.
Oh my God! It's not that deep.
No, I'm just saying, but
you can stay out as long as you want.
No, I know, but they know why you're calling, and they know that, and they know
just
me.
wanna
I'm
know
not.
What time you
But they
get
also,
home,
but
are
they,
you okay?
But they also know that I'm not the type to be like, man, I don't care. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go home. So like they know the deal.
I'm not calling you to go home though, right? That's
Yeah,
a simple
well, you
text.
call- but
It has to be something deeper.
No, you'll call me to let me know like what's going like hey yo, where you at? What time you coming? But that's basically like yo, I'd like you home now. You're not gonna tell me
That's
yo
not
if you huh?
That's what that mean?
That's not true.
That is what that means.
That means
Then why you calling?
That's what I said it's a simple text. So I know he's lying. It's not even
Who's
true.
lying?
You
How am I
are.
lying?
I would just say, okay, well, what time you getting home, or
That's what. But ain't that what I just said?
a text.
No,
I don't
I'm talking
call
about when you call. No, you have called.
I called you one time. I remember vividly. I called you one time.
No.
Let me say what I
Stop,
gotta say.
no, babe.
No, let me say what I gotta say.
Can we get some friends in the comments on this, please? Put the friends in the comments.
So,
I'm gonna let you talk. But good.
what I
I'm gonna let you-
vividly remember was that he and family members and friends were together for a
Oh,
men's
you called during the guys' night.
the
too.
guys' night. Don't
You
get
really
offended,
called
Jeff. It
during
was
the
like
guys' night.
literally his uncle who put it together. So it was the guys' night, and I don't know. I was going through something, and I called, and I
You
was
was going
talking
through
to you, and I was giving you some my feelings, and you were like, "Okay, babe, all right."
No, I listened. I really did listen. I did listen. I went hid in the bathroom and all that. They was like, yo, what's bad? It was one of those. But
And
you were
then-
the only wife
and then
that
you
called.
were like,
You were the only one that called.
I think that's what you're referring to. I never really called.
But that wasn't what I was. I
Okay.
wasn't thinking about that particular line. I just know that there's been times where you will text, but you'll follow up with a phone call.
Because you don't text me back.
So I'll be texting back sometimes.
No, you
Oh, all right.
don't.
If I forget,
Sometimes.
if I don't text back, like in a soon, like I don't know, in that, I don't know what that time
3
that window
minutes.
is.
You got about a.
3-minute grace period.
No, I was gonna say you got about a half hour to get back to me, and that's very nice. So I'm just saying, you don't text me back. I'm like, okay, well, is he alive?
Nah, I'm fine.
Okay, well, you tell me I'm fine. Thank you. It's like I gotta call you. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I checks in.
Okay.
I do.
You check in when you get there, and that's totally fine. And he doesn't have no curfew. I don't know if you guys deal with curfews or anything like that. It's not even a big deal. I just want to make sure you check in.
Do we go out?
Oh.
I low key have a curfew. You wanna know why? Because my curfew is.
He feels like he has a curfew because he's like, I don't want to be too out late for my wife and all that. I'm like, well, do what you want to do.
Because it's more of a like, okay, it's like, okay, I could be out if I'm at a performance or at a whatever, but I know that if I come home at a certain time, if it's past like I notice like I feel like midnight is like that's when you like drop your shoulders like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
That's not true.
No, because
I'll see you tomorrow because I'm about to go to sleep.
Yeah, but I'm talking about how you say it. It's like you're kind of disappointed. You are. So this is what happens.
She
are.
Guilt you to come home.
So like.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think you're her husband, so she, obviously she wants to see you at night before she goes to sleep, but it's not a big deal necessarily.
No, understood. I mean, yeah, but like I just know, like, when you give that energy, it makes me feel more inclined to be home at that time.
And that's what being married is.
Yeah.
That's marriage.
I think it's just it's not even so much like, oh, it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. It's just like you are my number one priority, and that's
a fact.
Like I want to. It's a balance, right? Like if you feel like
what's that look?
Well, our situation is totally different, but we can get into why that is. Okay. But like I feel like when you're married, like you just like you can absolutely like hang out, do your thing, but at the same time, that your spouse is home. Mm-hmm. Eager for you to get home, even if they're not pressing you about it. So that kind of makes you, rein it in a little bit. Whereas
earlier,
if you were single, maybe you wouldn't
be out all night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean, I understand that. I understand that 100%. So I get it. So I don't give you any slack.
Okay.
For like hitting me up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I understand it, but people
blatantly
just know
ignore me when I text you. So
I do not blatantly ignore.
I gotta
you
call
blatantly
a search
ignore
party
me for
because I know all the friends.
You blatantly ignored me
so
for like 5-6 years.
If he's alive or
back?
not. I remember calling your brother and I was like, so what's going on? Because I'm not getting any responses. And he's like, yeah, he's alive. I think he laughed at me.
That happens. His fiance done called me hella times too. It just be like that sometimes.
See, the boys just can't get it together.
Like, about the 6 years, you didn't text me back on time until I gave you a ring. You want to talk about it? Let's just be facts.
You just threw that out there, y'all.
Oh yeah.
We're married now. It's different. It's different.
So I gave you.
It hits different.
I gave you a couple months for not being on point. You gave me 6 years. I think I win the patience that contest. Right?
Whatever. Anyhow,
Jeff, you had a face. I want to know what that face was.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You had a whole face.
Sebastian.
Yes, sir.
How often do you actually go out, bro? You don't go out that much, right? So the times that when you do go out, I mean, why should we be rushing home?
But nobody's rushing you. That's the thing. That's what the thing is.
Because y'all calling us right before midnight, guilting us until one to come.
What?
So I feel like if you call me at midnight and you're like, listen, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna feel inclined to leave my boys. Exactly.
Hanging out.
I'm rolling over, holding my pillow by myself. Like, I'm gonna feel inclined to leave my boys and be like, I should probably go home.
I'm soft. You know I'm soft. You know I'm soft, especially when it comes to you. Like, you know that. I'm gonna be like, all right, man, I'm out of here. Like, now she's pissed. Like, I gotta fix this. I gotta go home and fix this.
You guys say we go to the extreme. You definitely go to the extreme.
So y'all don't go. We go to the extreme, so we don't have to deal with y'all going there.
Oh, what?
Because if we stay out, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a good example for this.
You are not speaking from personal experience right now.
When I go out,
he don't come home till
a time.
Y'all, I'm just gonna tell you this. I'm not even gonna tell you the whole thing, but let's just say the last time Jeff went out, He didn't get home until 4 a.m.
Those are the good old days.
Under questionable circumstances.
Oh, man.
That
Questionable?
resulted in lots of extra follow-up because Jeff was a mess.
I had to get picked up. Basically, she trying
You
to
had a real
spare me.
good time.
I had to get picked up, and I had to leave my car where I was. So then she had
The
to take
car
an
where it could
Uber
have potentially been towed, so I had to take an Uber
in the morning.
super early in the morning to go retrieve the car
Ooh.
and drive it back home.
Yeah, it was a costly night.
Before, yeah, it was a lot. But
Well,
anyway,
you know, I feel a little better about myself.
Yeah.
so to be fair, so this is why I said our situation is different. So we have a 2.5-year-old toddler twins.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Right?
Beautiful.
So
Precious.
on top of being married, like we're also parents to kids who can do very little for themselves. Right? So we don't often go out. And in fact, we often don't go out separate from each other.
We don't.
Like a lot of times when we hang out, we're hanging out in group situations. So either we're both out and we've got like a babysitter, so nobody's stressed one way or another, or you know, it's the few times that we'll go out separately, but then you know, we kind of recognize like this is probably not going to happen again for a while because again, you know, being parents and stuff like that. So I feel like we don't tend to trip too much about that kind of thing, you know, unless it's a situation. I mean, when the girls were younger, that was tough because I was
Come home
calling
at
them a
4 in the
lot.
morning
Like,
and
where you at? Come
Yeah.
home because I have 2 crying babies. But
Oh, you did one of those? A few of those?
what?
Never mind.
What?
Okay. So you guys can relate about the respecting time then.
Definitely.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I definitely feel like married friends respect your time way more than unmarried friends.
They get it.
They don't understand that, like, sometimes even your married friends, you know, come late, you know, and stuff like that too. But, you know.
I know the times we get together, it's never early night with us.
No.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's so unpredictable to the point where I guess we just have to make sure there's nothing happening the next day.
And there's more schedules to deal with too. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. But again, it's different when we're all together, you know, because then we could easily just keep it rolling hour after hour because you know it's like as long as y'all are cool and we're cool, then nobody has to have any conversations about you know like oh I gotta go.
That's true.
It's like we're all here together.
Do what you gotta
You
do.
know?
I'm not gonna lie, when we be having our little couples nights, I don't be wanting it to end.
I
I be wanting to go on till like 3, 5, 6 in the morning.
I know.
Like,
It'd be so
can y'all just spend the
fun.
night? We just have a slumber party.
We
Like,
should do that one day though. Like, we should. It'll be fun.
I love
We'll
it.
have to be at your guys' house.
They're
though.
always so. We
'Cause then
gotta.
the babies have their room, and then we could just cut up out here.
yeah, we have space.
Yeah. So,
I'm down.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I love those things. Those are like I always every time we get up, I always ask when the next. I always tell her, yo, I think, how long has it been? Like it's been a month,
Just
right?
it's
Is it supposed to be? Every,
Well.
Okay.
We
Listen.
had one scheduled
Oh my
and it
gosh.
was canceled. Someone got sick, unfortunately.
You know what's funny? The day of, she wasn't sick.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, the day of.
Sorry.
But then we had
Yeah,
the
no,
snowstorm. So then I was like, you guys, should we do it or
True.
not?
We did have a
Oh,
little
it did
snow
snow
that
that
day.
day.
Yeah.
So I was like,
And it was bad. It wasn't bad, like a lot of snow, but it was
But it
like
was-
very.
When it was coming down,
When it was coming out, it was coming out
It
pretty
was
heavy.
like frozen
Okay.
snow.
When you told them
I ain't really do
you were sick,
But she
you
reneged.
you were sick.
I didn't renege. I had the flu. Like, come
You did,
on.
no, you did have the flu. It was bad.
Like, it was
but
horrible.
when you text them, it was around that stage where.
It was coming. I was coming
You were
on.
So
clearing
by the
up.
time when the day came,
You were good. Yeah.
That's true.
Straight.
And we ended up recording that episode.
We didn't leave the house the whole day.
Yeah, it was fun.
We didn't leave the house the whole day.
So yeah, we got to do that. We have to figure this out.
Yeah.
Respecting time. What was your thought on understanding? Oh, I brought this up. So
Wait,
understanding.
I thought that all tied into the first one. Like
No, because
understanding
if you're, I guess so. I guess we can just kind of go spiral
That's what I
into
thought.
that. It's just understanding each other's times, but also understanding the situations. Like, for example, tonight, right, was very like out of the blue, and it was me just like, I want to bombard, and I was like, you guys want to do it, and of course you got to give married people who are in a family or who have families like 2-week span or a lot more further notice, as opposed to people who don't have kids. It's just like, let's just do it, right? So I'm just like,
it's so funny. Like when we talk to people that we tell them like, yeah, man, we're married. They be like, yeah, y'all don't got kids though. We get it. We know you're not. We know you're not single, so you can't do all that. Like, yeah, but you don't have anybody you're raising. So just go out there and have fun. Have a little bit of fun. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because everybody that we know, like
children.
Everybody we know has kids. Either they had them before or after, or that's just how they get down. So,
so cute.
So yeah. What?
So thank you. So, okay.
I think I got a little something.
So it was so cute.
There ain't no scratch.
He had an itch on his back. Jeff had an itch, and he like bent over, and she just knew exactly what to do.
Yo, that's how we.
That's what we do.
Yeah, word. I love that.
Right.
Ain't nothing like that.
Basically, this was so out of the blue, and we were like, "Can you guys do it?" And I was just like, okay, I know how this goes. I factored in that they had children. I didn't bring it up purposely because I didn't want to like press there, but I knew that it was gonna be possibly like, okay, they need to make plans or whatever, no rush, and I purposely didn't press it. And then today I got a call. It was like, well, we can, but the kids and blah blah blah. I was like, you know what, that's cool. But then I was like, maybe we can come to you guys' house, since you know if you can make arrangements, you still be responsible, but they'll be asleep or what have you. And so I understood the situation, and a lot of single friends would just be like, well, can't you just call your mom, or can't you just call your friend, a cousin, or whatever? And it's just like, that's inconsiderate. You just have to be understanding that it's just, especially if you're married and you have a family, it's just like, you just have to be understanding. If it can't happen, it can't happen. Because we really had a plan B. No lie. We were just like, well, if they can't make it, we're just going to do this. Mm-hmm. So
somebody else was on the docket and y'all didn't get picked. Sorry, y'all could have been the first.
No shade.
I'm joking.
So the part of understanding, I wrote that down because it's just like, yeah, you just have to be understanding as a married couple, and having friends who are married, especially if they have family.
And I think too, I think people think compromise or like being like open to sort of figuring out something is more difficult than it actually is. I mean, because like even like right now, it's like, yes, sure, like we do have 2 children, and we are recording this late, y'all. It's like 1 a.m. right now, but like like the kids are asleep. Like there are ways to make slight adjustments that it's not going to be the end of the world, or it's not going to completely upend something. I think sometimes even your single friends might feel like, oh, it's going to be too much for me to try to make this accommodation. It's like, no, most times it's like 1 or 2 little easy tweaks or something. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, if we can do this, like, boom, like, fine, we can make it happen.
Yeah.
It's not this big, burden to try to figure out how to hang out with your married friends. I think people overestimate how difficult it is to figure stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard, y'all. Like, just try a little bit. Like, yes, you have to try some, but it's not as hard or as deep as you think it's going to be.
I like that you said that, because sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm the type of person who wants to try to make things work out, but I feel like it can come off a certain way, like something wrong, or if, like, okay, why is she doing all of this? Is this way too much? I already said no, or like I can't make it. Like they err on the side of, okay, she's really not being considerate. Like I'm just like, if there's a will, there's a way type of person, and then the group or the person.
I understand that. I feel you.
It'll just be like, I don't know. I feel like it comes off wrong. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I overcompensate by saying I completely understand. I know it's this. I I just want to make sure that. You understand that I'm coming from.
Not pressing you.
Yes, it's no ill intent. It's not like because I need you to do it for me. It's just like it'll be cool, but I'm good if you guys can't do it. You know what I mean? Because then I don't want the person to feel like.
But I think too, it depends on personality. So I think me and Jeff, we are the kind of people that's like, oh yeah, sure, like if we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Within reason. We will make it happen. Yeah, okay, if we have to make a little adjustment here or there, like fine. But we're pretty much like gung-ho kind of people.
Yep.
But I think that's a testament to, in this example, right, like who you guys are to us. I feel like when you have people who matter to you, you know, we don't get to hang out all the time.
Yeah.
So if there is a small little window of a possibility, it's like, okay, we're going to try any possible means to make this happen because we know, like, you know, life will happen and we probably won't see each other for another month or two. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you have people that you care about, you know, you make the adjustments, and it's not that hard to figure out how to fit people in your life who matter. At least that's how.
Oh, that was the word. That was the word. I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
All facts.
That's his word. But every single show.
All
That's
facts.
all I would.
Next. That was so awesome. Let's see. This is why we matched this. God bless us with some awesome friends. Relatable. Having friends who are married who are relatable. Obviously, we don't have a family, but we relate to each other so much. Like, we literally are into the same things, the arts. What are you into, Jeff?
There's 3 artists here at this table right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
I am not one of
An
them,
art
but
consumer.
So, we all relate to each other.
there's a black show too.
We're interested about the same things, and we don't just hang out with each other. We have the same group of friends, so to speak, that we kind of cut up with also, and it's just like one big happy family. So you want to have a group of friends who are married that relate to the same things, not just connected by, our kids know each other, or, you know, our moms met at church or whatever. You want to have like that deeper, true friendship with your married friends. Any thoughts about that, you guys?
We have this one married couple.
Who are friends of mine originally. I work with her. Her name's Jacqueline. So her and her husband Mike. Yeah, we've hung out a few times. But yeah, aside from our siblings,
Yeah.
we don't. Because we were pretty much the first to get married, even of your siblings, that is.
Yeah, of my siblings I am.
Yeah. We're like pioneers still.
A very small
like,
community of us.
Yeah. I think too, right? Like our age
We need to
group,
build
we're just getting into that like marriage age, quote unquote, you know. So I feel like we're still of the first fruits of marriage. So we gotta wait for the rest of our friends to catch up. Yeah.
The trailblazers, pretty much. What about advice? Do you have, well, you don't have a lot of married friends. Wonder if we've ever given each other advice. Yes, you guys have given us advice.
Yeah, when you guys were preparing for your wedding.
Oh,
y'all came in clutch.
Lord.
Like, it was like...
Are y'all ever going to do like a financial...
Ooh.
Oh, did I miss an episode?
You missed an episode.
I kind of want to revisit that.
We can, though. We can have another couple's night about that.
I want to revisit that topic.
Okay.
And prepare for it a little bit more, and then tackle that again.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, like, we know older people that are married, and I feel like we've gotten advice from people. And in some ways, yes, it's very valuable to listen to somebody who's been married, you know, for longer than you've been alive. In some cases, you know, to hear how they've gone through any and everything and still have managed to have their longevity. I think there's definitely a benefit in that. But, you know, certainly it is different being, you know, young, millennial, married church folk. Like, that's a different subset. So I think, you know, you take the advice and stuff of people who have gone before you, so to speak. But then also figuring out our own way as we go along. And then...
Because not everybody's story is the same story.
Right.
True.
And not everybody's journey, rather, too, is the same journey.
Right. And even with advice, like, I mean, we give advice, sort of, but, you know, we're of the opinion, like you just said, like, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's looking at it from a different perspective. I think it matters whether or not you are a believer, right? Because what we're going to say is going to come from a believer's standpoint, and, you know, depending on who we're talking to, you may or may not receive it, you know, whatever. So I think all that plays a part, for sure.
Have we ever given you guys advice?
I don't think so.
I don't think, at least not like officially. but we talk all the time, you know, and we're always sharing ideas for sure.
Have you given anybody advice?
I don't think
Nobody cares
But
about
that's
that.
the thing.
Nobody cares about what we got.
No, that's the thing. I know people give advice.
We give
being
advice
like,
through our episodes.
I feel like the only people who can give advice to is people that are like, I don't want to say like under us, but like.
Who's coming
no,
after
but see,
us.
Like,
but see,
I don't know.
that's a limited view of what advice is, right? Like having
That's
conversation with people, you can be giving us advice and not
Dropping
realize
gems.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Very
just
true.
in conversation, hearing your perspective, hearing ours. Like,
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe informally, yeah, for sure.
I think that something you guys said to us or came up in conversation about like y'all prayer life and stuff like that and devotions, like you guys when y'all started doing the devotions,
Oh,
right?
that's a
Yes.
bonus.
So
Yes.
Shelly and SB, Sebastian, they invited us to do like a couples devotion together, right? So like, you know, it's this app on for the Bible.
The U version, what's
You version of Bible
Yeah, I
app.
don't even know the name of it. I just know it's like a Bible with a cross on it,
yeah.
right?
Clearly,
So-
we're not being.
Well, don't all Bibles have crosses?
We're not
though?
being accountable towards each other. We've kind of slacked, but we gonna
we
get
have
there.
slack, but we were
Yeah.
going strong though, right?
Yeah,
And we
we
were
were.
doing like couples devotionals. So one person
That
would
was good.
choose the next devotional.
Yeah.
I think it was Naja's turn next, but when it was my turn, everybody kind of just slagged off. But
Yeah,
we did
Jeff-
get through
Jeff
like
was completing them.
two
Yeah.
full cycles, right?
Yeah.
But that was good though because like it brought us together to like actually be on one accord. And even if
Yeah.
we weren't always reading them together, like all of us were reading the same thing. So like when we had our own little separate prayers, I'm sure that we all were thinking about the same thing. So like we were on one accord.
We had
So
the-
that I feel like that was definitely good from y'all.
No, it was. No, yeah, and
Well,
that
thank
was.
you. Now I
You were
feel
the first. Well, you guys were the first people we thought of when we did it, and I
Yeah.
like the fact that we were able to like interact in regards to
Yeah,
like,
that was
the
cool.
notes. Like I felt like Naja had like these elaborate. It's funny. She
is
used to
a
read
writer
Naja's
for
right,
sure.
and then she felt like she was like, okay, we got.
What we gonna do? We're gonna write.
Yeah, like all right, we gotta
Like,
somehow combat
No, our
that.
conversations would be deep. The writing though,
Yeah,
just
word,
be
like-
like, how do we convey
like,
what we just
okay.
talked about?
Okay.
I bet. Like we're like yo.
No, you just set the bar. So I was like, oh my god, we have to respond
like,
to
it was
that.
more,
so
it was more than
eloquently.
the actual devotional. I think. Like,
She was
You're
right. She
trying
said
to
she's
see
a
y'all
writer.
there saying I'm long-winded. See, it keeps coming.
No,
Nah, it was all
just-
rich.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but yeah,
You was
yeah,
hitting everything, and I'm like,
Okay.
dang, that was a part of it. I went back to read the devotional again. It was so good.
No. It was.
But
it
for
was.
real though, until y'all started that, we definitely had slacked, me and Jeff,
Seriously.
as far as like having devotion together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what busyness does to you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the busyness of life, the busyness of work, and you know, not always getting enough sleep and dealing with the kids. Like in the beginning of our marriage, when it was just the two of us, like we would find time to read together, or we would pray together more. And then, of course, like I said, you get into your routine, your day to day, you're busy, and we had actually lost that. So when you guys invited us to start up this couples thing, you know, via the app, it was like y'all actually. So it wasn't advice, right, quote unquote, but
More like
it was a
guidance.
reminder of like, oh yeah, like we should be doing this together. Oh yeah, like we should be unified
Oh, that's dope.
and visiting our word together, and not just like being in church on Sunday and right, like this needs to be a part of our lives. So I mean.
Thank
that,
you.
that was kudos to y'all for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
seriously.
Oh, cool. Well,
That's awesome.
no, that's dope, and we actually need to get back at that ourselves. 'cause
Yeah, we.
in the
But I
past couple
have
months-
seen you guys. I don't know if you guys can see what your friends do, but I've seen that Jeff has started his own personal devotionals. I saw you started one 2 weeks ago or something like that. Did you do a 30-day one? Did you really like go
I
through
think
it?
didn't you had a 30-day one. Mine was shorter for sure. It's definitely not 30 days.
I do a lot of private ones.
I do too. I have a
Yeah,
few.
I be
Okay.
like, I want people to judge me when I'm looking at.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
When I look at ones, I'm not gonna lie. When I look at ones about like financial success, I be like, I want people to just see that and be like, that's all he's thinking about is money.
Oh,
So
really?
I do all my
Okay,
financial
okay.
ones privately,
I have
but like
a
my
couple private
other.
ones too. But I've seen. I don't know if I have any public.
No,
ones.
you I have some.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the fact that I see it, I'm like, okay, great. Then
Yeah,
that
that's
keeps me
encouragement too,
motivated.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
keeps
yeah,
me
yeah.
motivated.
Like, oh, they reading. Let me get my Bible
Right,
out.
get it
Like,
together.
I gotta
I
get
ain't
back
read
on that. I
today.
used to be.
Yeah.
I used to come home from. I used to do it even at work, like at my lunch break. I
And
used to
do
do
your
it.
devotion
Gotta get. But it's funny. That was kind of the precursor to this podcast.
to this.
because we started doing, like, you had this book from your church called, remember, was it Sounds of, something of the City? What was it called?
Something City.
I forgot what it was called, but that's
we were just praying for the city of Newark.
Yeah.
And every single day was like a prayer, a devotion, and we would just talk for hours.
Yeah. And then that's what kind of started. We were like, yo, we should just probably hit record.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And just record all of the
came
stuff we
from
talk.
the Lord.
But that came. But we've been like this forever. Like,
Forever.
we used to be in her car talking to like.
The car just has
2,
car
3
has
in the
all the
morning.
tea.
All
The tea.
Yeah.
just yeah.
That car long gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still
Got
talk in the
a
car.
new
We
one
get
now.
home and we're just sitting there talking right in front of the house.
Like we're not about
up
to
with
see
that?
each other tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, yo,
we
we gotta
just
go to sleep and go to
We
work.
gotta go inside.
I'm like,
It's-
I don't
weird.
know, but that's crazy. But I think that's dope because I like the fact that we can still have these long conversations and we don't come home and just not say nothing. I mean, when we have some of them, like we have those, but I'm saying like
Because
we
you
can
know,
still.
it's me time now.
Everybody needs their me time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had,
Naja has hers at yoga.
Oh, most definitely.
But you're not
That's
in the
what's up.
house not talking to him, right?
I mean, there are times we're in the house not talking to each other.
Okay.
He'll be doing
It's
his
just-
thing and I'll be doing my thing. Sometimes.
yeah, it's a small window from like 6:45 to like 7:50. But I just don't want to answer any questions. That's it. Everything after that.
Isn't
got
she
you.
still asleep though at that point? Then you say like she wakes up later than you, right?
No,
No,
this is
it's
like
evening.
this isn't.
Oh.
Oh no, in the morning I'm good. The morning is on. Especially like Saturday mornings is like my time.
Whatever.
Cause I wake up like at, I don't know, I probably get up like at 7 or something. I don't know why I wake up.
Tomorrow? 'Cause it's
You
like
get up at
1:30
seven.
Yeah,
now.
tomorrow, yeah, I know, yeah. Tomorrow's like a little different.
Yeah.
But like, she wakes up like at, I don't know, 11.
That's not. you
I'm
ain't
about-
gonna
I'm-
play me
I'm-
like
I'm
that.
about right,
It's
right?
not even 11. It don't.
12?
No,
It's later?
it's 8.
Wait, 8?
It's
You
8
do-
o'clock.
On a Saturday?
Yes.
You wake up at 8 on the regular day, or like on a weekday, and you're late to work.
Coming from my neck.
No, I'm not coming for your neck. I'm just, I know, like, you'll text me like, yo, I just got up. Like, oh wow, that's crazy. You gonna make it in
We'll
time?
edit that out.
Such a look at my text right now.
Not, never mind. You're like, now you gotta go find. It's gonna be a thing. Just put it there. We're good.
Okay.
Do it.
All right, so we can go right into the support, and I think that we just pretty much talked about the support part, right? Being accountability partners in our devotions and just basically supporting one another through that journey. So you want to be able to have friends who support you and just have friends that you know that will be there through your ups, through your downs, like literally, I don't want to say situations, but we've confided in each other with things that we've gone through even before Sebastien and I got married, and you know, you guys been supportive, words of encouragement, and I just felt like that's family, period. And so I think that it's very important to have friends who are married, who are supportive, who understand it, who gets it, and it's basically like family. So
I don't want to throw any shade to all my single friends out there. They're actually some really good people. I just want to throw that out there.
agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But the married friends are like,
Yeah.
it's easy. I don't know why I fucking throw it out there.
There's no shade to the single folks.
I got a good friend probably listening like, damn, like, he tried.
No.
I chill with him a couple times.
'Cause I ain't
the single
married.
friends-
Word,
The
like-
single friends are great. We love you, and you guys really are awesome. But you definitely, there's a different perspective. Just like how parents relate to each other when they have kids. Like, it's a different feeling when you know people who have children because they have a different level of understanding.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Now that
it's
we've
like-
come to this
it's
stage
like
in life,
single,
we know.
Then married, but then like married with children. It's like those
Stages?
Yeah. So we're in
Stages
that
of life.
we're in that stage 2 right now.
Yeah. So you guys said that you've been married for 4 years. Is
Yeah, that's 4 years went by fast.
very fast.
That's
Facts.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, is the 3-year troubled year myth true?
It's 3. I thought it was 2.
It's 3.
3?
Like once you get to your 3rd year, it's like crazy. Is that a myth?
I think that was a myth. At least it was a myth for us.
Yeah, I don't believe in any of that.
Honestly. Well, no, I will say we just had a conversation recently where we talked about like we felt like this year, right? So 4 going into 5, we feel like we've gotten comfortable in the routine of us, and now we're like getting to a new level, a new layer of our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna be able to say it the way I said it before. It sounded really good the way I said it.
I remember what you said
Well,
before.
when I was talking about like
Wow,
how
you weren't listening clearly.
how I said, you know, I feel like you get to a point in your marriage where you start like really seeing the mirror that your spouse holds up to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't really know how to explain it in the same way again, because it started from a conversation from something else. But essentially, I feel like, you know, they say a lot of couples don't make it, or married couples don't make it past, what's the year before they get divorced? I don't know. Is it 5 years or
Really?
what is it? I don't know the statistic, y'all. But I think for me, I was saying, I think I understand why that is, because I feel like where we are now in our marriage, there are times when I feel like him just being who he is, right, to me as, you know, my partner, my lover, my spouse, he holds up a mirror to me where I get to see through his eyes, so to speak, all of those things about me that I need to either work on or change for the sake of strengthening our marriage, right? And that's a very scary and vulnerable place to be in, right? Because I think for the most part, especially as like godly Christians and married folk, like we love to think that we're always doing our best or always putting our best foot forward. But then you start to see those things, or you start to see those patterns that probably need to be changed. And a lot of times, you know, you'll look at your spouse like, oh, I wish he would do this. I wish he would do that. I wish this would be different. But then you start to see the stuff that you should be doing differently. And it's like, oh, okay, this is why marriage is hard. Because it's not even so much about you as it is about me.
Right.
And knowing that I have to be humble enough and willing to do the work on myself to make sure that this marriage continues to flourish the way that it's supposed to. I feel like that's where we are now, where I, at least, am really starting to see myself in this marriage. And it's like, okay.
So it's the reflection year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well said. I agree with that.
I hope I said it in a way that makes sense. But yeah, it's not even so much about me worried about, oh, Jeff is doing this, or oh, Jeff is not doing that. It's like, well, what is Naja not doing? Or what is Naja doing that is causing this issue to arise? And that's a very vulnerable place to be in. But then you have to remember, the person you are with is the person you chose, right? So if you're going to be vulnerable while trying to go through change, it has to be, you know, it should be with this person that you've married.
That's amazing.
And be willing to do the work.
And you said that you've hit that in your third year, or you've hit that.
No,
in your
I
fourth
feel
year.
like that has been a recent thing for us, like the last couple months.
Okay.
So we're like going on 4.5 now.
I think that we've hit that mark or that fine line this past year, or the last 5 months. I think in my case, reflection year. Because I've noticed how we've been butting, I don't want to say we've been arguing, but getting to a point where we're hitting the same roadblock. And it's just hitting me like, okay, so what are we not doing to get over this hurdle? And even there was a situation last night where I'm like, okay, I could work on this. And I vocally said, I can work on this because I don't want to get to this place with you. And I had a realization, I had a reflection that was like, okay, it's happening more frequently. And it's just like, we got to fix this, because if it keeps coming up, then we're going to be in a bad place. So I think in the last, but this is our second, right?
Being married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being in each other's faces, being in each other's space, being like just always, you know, you don't have you time all the time, you know what I mean? So we're in this place where it's just like, I feel like it's a reflection time for us.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
because we're realizing a lot of big pieces.
Too busy being happy that we was married. That we do too much reflecting, but I don't know.
Okay.
Now I feel like that's what's happening for me at least.
But you also spent a lot of time to your family, right? So did it make you like the reflection now is coming about when you now have the toddlers who can walk, who can talk, who can kind of be independent, and now you get a chance to focus on each other more a little bit?
That could definitely be it, because I feel like, you know, we got married, we moved into our first place together, because prior to that we were both at our mom's house. Within a year, so before we even hit a full year of marriage, I was pregnant. We found out it was twins. Then we started, you know, planning to buy a house. So I think we had major life changes all the time. So it was no real time to really sit and be in whatever we were in.
But like you are preaching the way that he's just
she's right.
I mean, yeah, like it was like one thing after another. So we never sat long enough in one spot before it was changing again. So I feel like now, like, yes, our girls are at a certain age where they're not as, you know, needy anymore. We're in our house now finally, like we're settled, and now like we're getting to that like comfortable spot in the chair, like sinking in a little bit. And now it's like, oh, and let's really look at this. And I think in marriage, you know, people, you know, they always say don't get in relationships hoping that somebody's gonna change and this and that, but I think, you know, people still do it, like unconsciously as it may be, like you just assume like, oh, this, you know, this will probably change. I can, you know, we can work through this until it changes or until he changes, right? That's often how we look at it, but it's like, no, so how can the situation change if you change? We always want the other person to change first.
We want them to change their
and that's what makes it so hard.
Yep.
That's a true fact.
Girl, you preaching tonight.
I ain't trying to preach, y'all. I'm just talking.
What's the motto, Ben?
Oh, yeah, we're not professionals. We just telling
our story.
Word, there it is.
Simple and plain. Simple and plain. Don't take some advice from us and then, you know, run back and complain to us because it ain't work. We're just trying something. We just showing everybody's situation works differently.
Yep.
Your wife is different than my wife. I'm different than your husband. You know what I'm saying? Things work differently for different people. You gotta know the crust of your partner. Yeah. And then you make that step how to effectively deal with it. This is just how we deal with it. So when we have our little tips and advice, it's how it worked in our particular situation, and we think it might work in yours if it happens to be similar to ours. But if it doesn't, that's something you have to come up with your partner. Sometimes I feel like we got to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Just
disclaimer.
I'm saying, disclaimer.
If they ain't the one,
fine print at the bottom of the,
you know,
feel me?
Make your plans. All right. Now, do you guys have any tips or anything to add into most of what we've spoken to tonight about having friends who are married?
I guess I want to just piggyback off of what Sebastien just said. Everybody's marriage is different, right? Like, I'm not sure in your household who the chef is, but all right, so Shelly's the chef in their household, right? But in my household, I'm the chef, right? So you might have an idea of what you think marriage is based on what people have told you it is, or what their marriage has been to them. But everybody's marriage is different. Like, I love food, I like to cook, so why not be the chef? Why try to force that upon Naja if she doesn't care for cooking? Like, food is just something to get her through the day, right? It's not like a love for it like I had for it. So for me to come home after working and then still cook is like, okay, that's fine because I enjoy doing it. But for her to have to come home from working and then to cook is like, torture. Okay, now I gotta cook too. Like, for me, it's fine, but for her, it's not. So that's one thing I want to say. That's like, you know, everybody's marriage is different. So whatever roles you guys assign in your marriage, like, it may not be the same roles that other people are assigning their marriages. Tip 1.
Word.
Tip 2.
That was a good one.
Don't compare your marriage to another marriage.
Yeah.
That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. Speaking of the whole cooking thing, I think that in the time I really wasn't purposely trying to do it, I compared my cooking to Jeff's cooking. And I remember the salmon story. And that's what made me me laugh just now. It was just like, was I really comparing it? Because he had my salmon literally the week before.
Like, I low-key regret eating Jeff's salmon. I wish it was trash. Because like, nah, just because I said I liked it, she was like, well, I made salmon too last
He
week.
didn't give that same impression.
Yes, I did,
and
man. Like,
I was like, dang, what did you do?
I love it. I'm like, damn,
what was so good about the salmon? I'm like, what's the recipe and everything? And I really did. I don't think it was it jealousy? Did you guys feel like it was jealousy? I don't know. I didn't feel like it was.
No, you were the jealous one.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't think it was. Like, I wasn't jealous of it. I was just trying to, like, do it for you so that I could get that same reaction.
Yeah.
You know?
Sound like jealousy to me. I mean, you can say that. I'm sorry. I like how you painting the picture, but that sound like jealousy. But like, I don't say it like that.
Okay, so maybe it was, and I'm okay with saying that, but I just felt like
but
your reaction to the salmon
like,
was very deep.
I love your cooking.
No, I get that now.
I love your cooking in general, but I love your salmon in particular. You know that. You made salmon for
He
me.
has to say that.
Nah, but I've been said that. I said my brother loves it. Like, remember the time you cooked for both of us?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was just, I don't know, I just felt like, I don't know. Don't compare your marriage or anything that the other spouse is doing to yours. It's your marriage. You do what you want, and then it does not matter unless the person is taking it too far. Like, why don't you do what she's doing, or why don't you do what he's doing? Like, we're not doing that. That's not supposed to be.
That's how you're like your mother in a way.
What do you mean?
You guys love compliments on your cooking. You notice that?
My mom is like that too.
Okay.
She wants you to like go on and on and on about how good it was.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if you don't do that, she feels like she failed somehow.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's her. But I think it
Maybe
goes
that's
back to
because
like
you're passionate about
that's
that.
the passion.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like you want somebody to really
You want
acknowledge
them
that
to,
because this is what you love.
It's like somebody like
He didn't acknowledge it at all.
What do you mean? Who didn't?
The salmon afterwards, you did.
I've acknowledged every
No,
good
when
meal
you had it, babe, let me just explain to you.
So not all hug meals are good?
Nah, they all, see,
No,
Jeff,
you got in my head.
Jeff is not going to be invited back, y'all.
You got in my head.
No, don't do it. It's just not healthy. And
Every
you know what?
meal
You
you-
never know what this couple is going through. It could just be all surface. No, I'm not talking about
No,
you
it's
guys.
okay.
But it could also
We're
really be
superficial.
all.
Ridiculous.
Sorry, it's getting late. It's after hours now, so all the silliness is coming out. We're good though.
Okay.
After I was tired.
It's really like you just want to make sure that you are solid within your foundation and it's all good, which we were. I was just fussing about salmon, but I'm just saying if it's something deeper, don't compare yours to the next, and just.
Fussing about salmon. You really about salmon? You got an argument about salmon?
No, that really made me think. So I was like, that's a good one. It's just like, I mean, it's not as deep as people really do out here, but I just felt like, yeah, it's not that deep.
Nah, you hung on to that for a
It
little
was
bit.
it was a trait. You just called it out. You was like, maybe it's just my mom. Maybe I do have a little bit of my
When
mom.
did we first come here and eat the salmon? Was it like in the
Yeah,
winter?
bro,
Was
it
it
was
cold? Because
A long time ago.
It was, right?
No, but you talked about the cooking, which made me remember. So I'm really over
I
it.
remember
It
see-
just
I remember-
made me remember that.
I remember seasons changing and you still having something about that. Like, if it was cold when we came and it was warm and you were still mad.
Okay, so it really is probably just like a satisfaction thing.
Cause
for me
in
the cooking.
So
realm.
am I? Should I give more? Am I not giving?
No,
more?
see, this is the problem now because I'm over it. It's not a big deal. I was just thinking about it because.
You sure?
Look at him egging it on right now. It's not that deep. It's
Sure?
fine.
All right.
That's all right. That's okay. I know I'm a good cook.
Tell it.
Speak that, yo. I want that confidence.
No, but I'm-
100% even.
The
when-
point
when the bond is
was,
over.
do not compare your marriage or your relationship to
Nah,
the next person.
I get you 100%. And don't
Tip
compare your
3.
salmon to somebody else's salmon either. This goes for salmon. It goes for everything.
Okay, tip 3, which is kind of tip 2.0. Don't compare your marriage to somebody else's social media marriage.
Oh, now we're talking.
Right.
Let's
Like-
talk about it. Let's talk
And
about it.
I don't need y'all already know. I don't need to go into this, but right, like everybody's posting
Everything.
the best of the best
Yeah.
of the best filter and the
Yeah.
best highlight of
Yeah.
So even with that, it's like we're the scrolling generation, right? And it's so easy to get infiltrated with imagery of what you think somebody else's life looks like. But they're not showing you everything.
Snapshot.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you sitting here mad because this one salmon look real pretty on Instagram, but like it's a filter, and So anyway, don't do that. But then I would also say, keep in mind what your timeline is, right? So you get married. For us, we don't have any divorce plans, right?
Right.
There's no contingency plan here. There's no way out. I mean, I guess death is the way out, but we're not gonna like commit death to one another.
I pray you don't kill me.
But, right. So knowing that this is going to be a long-winded journey,
Yep.
recognize that there's going to be seasons, there are going to be cycles, but I mean that's exactly what they are. They're seasons and they're cycles, and there are going to be times that are going to be rough, but it's to be expected when you're on such a long journey. Like, it is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And what's the scripture? Like, the race is not given to the swift or the strong, but to those who endure. And I think that's so true for marriage. Like, you just have to keep in mind what your timeline is. Like, if I am committing to you at 29 years old that I want to still be with you when I'm 89 years old, then I might as well buckle in and get ready for whatever.
What's the face? What's going on?
I'm just imagining 89, like.
Right, 29 to 89, 60 years, right? Like, that's a long time. So don't be mad if every day is not a beautiful day in the neighborhood, because it's not going to be. So just, like, get your expectations in order. And get your right gear on and be prepared to withstand. But right, in order to withstand, I think you do need the support, and you do need, well, for us, like, God
prayer
is first, right? Prayer, like, you're gonna need something that's gonna sustain you through those times where it's gonna be rough, because you don't know what those are gonna look like.
Oh no.
But again, keep in mind what your goal is.
I like that one.
Amen.
I like that one.
Any other tips? Any other call outs? Any other thoughts?
I'll be honest with you. I'm actually, like, and this is no, I'm not gonna say shade, but I feel for people in the current, like, like, dating, like, environment and social media being involved. Even though we're all millennials, for some reason I felt like we just weren't a part of that.
Yeah, we weren't.
Even though I'm active on social media, we both have it. Like, that never factored into our even relationship at 20, 21, 22, and marriage now. Like, it just never played any kind of part with anything. And for some other people, it's like the foundation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they go online, and it affects their whole
followers.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it affects their relationship like pretty significantly. No, not just how social media is.
You like the photo?
No, I was like, yeah, like, you searching to see what your significant other liked, how many times they like it, who they're following, like, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, and then it creates all, like, lack of trust and all this stuff. And then I know
yes, I understand what you're saying. Like we were listening to a scenario where, like, somebody's in a relationship and they were like, oh yeah, my significant other was liking this person's photos and this and that. I feel like that we don't have any experience with that, and I feel like even if Jeff were to like someone else's stuff, like, I'm not tracking. I don't know. We don't have that social media issue either.
Ain't got them problems.
No.
We just don't. I feel like it was here with us, but it missed us. Or maybe we were just maybe by the grace of God we were mature enough that it just didn't get, because we're just not like that online. We also don't put our business out there.
Nope.
Like, anything that we've, according to, like, how it looks to our followers, we're, like, great all the time. Like, you feel me? Just see a picture here and there, be smiling, be happy. But there's some people, like, I know everything y'all went through, and I'm like, yo, I wasn't supposed to know all that. But they put no, for real, like, people, I'm like, yo, why are you disclosing this information? Like, this is pretty personal. Like, and then next post they back and everything's good. I'm like, nah, man, that was heavy what you just said last week. I gotta talk about that. Like, that was something serious.
I need a recap. What
happened? Yeah, I need a recap.
Resolution.
So y'all good now?
Well, y'all good now? Because you said that, wasn't she? But, like, all right, bet. Nah, you good. But nah, like, I think, yeah, I'm glad that didn't. I'm just glad that we weren't nowhere near focused on that throughout this almost 10-year journey now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Now we leave it to the post-millennials to get that and figure out how to work out their marriages. In that
Marriages?
Marriage.
Jesus.
All right. Thank you guys for diving deep into that topic. I felt like that was awesome. Nasha was preaching. She's a writer and a preacher. Hallelujah. Amen. So we're going to actually introduce a new segment. All right. And this segment,
speaking of social media,
right, is going to be called What Do You Meme? Okay. So what we're going to do every time we reach this segment is pretty much read or pretty much sound up on a meme that we felt was relatable to millennial marriages or the topic of the week or something that you know that you related to in that specific meme. So the meme of this segment of this week is, let's talk about it. This was posted by The Shade Room, of course, right? And the topic of this meme was hashtag TSR Great Debates. So this woman wrote, or I don't know if it was a woman or not, it doesn't say. This person wrote, my cousin left her husband and he keeps accusing her of cheating, but she really left him because he makes twice of what she makes and still insisting on her paying half of the bills. She said she would just rather pay all her bills and not be bothered by him. Good for her. What are our thoughts? What do you mean?
Interesting.
Finance man.
He makes twice as much as her, and he still wanted her to go half.
Disclaimer first. Everybody's marriage is different, and everybody deals with money differently.
We're not professionals.
Very-
We're just telling our story.
Just my perspective.
Okay.
It's all our money, right?
Okay.
So whether not just making $100 million a year or $100,000 a year or $200 a year, like it's still all of our money.
Okay.
Like we pool it all together personally here, and we pay the bills together.
Okay.
So I mean,
Naja,
don't
would you
know.
leave?
leave over some money? No, not necessarily. Now, if she messing up the bag, then maybe. No, I'm joking. But
Naja, would you leave?
I don't. Okay, so he made double the money she makes, want her to still pay half the bills. So she's like, I'd rather just pay the full bill somewhere else. I don't know. That logic doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Personally. I mean, I do see a problem with him having that expectation of her for sure.
Okay.
Because, right, it's like, well, if you are the breadwinner
Yeah.
here, like, I mean, and again, like Jeff said, everybody's marriage is different. But
Yeah.
you would think it would, whatever each person's finances are, whatever their contribution is to the house should reflect that.
Okay.
So, for instance, for me, like, I'm an artist, which means I'm broke a lot of times. I'm here with the kids, but so Jeff may be responsible for more of the bulk of the bills, but then I'm responsible in maintaining our house in other ways, like, whether it's with the kids before they, have gotten to the age of childcare, preschool rather, or like just maintaining the house in general. Like, I think each person in the relationship contributes to the
Awesome.
sustenance of the house.
Mhm.
And you should just divvy it up the way that makes the most sense. Like, don't make it hard.
Right.
You make more money, then pay more bills. That's just the way I do it, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baby,
What's up?
your thoughts?
Oh, what? I'm playing.
It's too much.
No, I mean, well, the situation, I kind of look at it a couple of different ways. Okay, so one, I mean, well, just from a marriage standpoint, like, to leave for that, like, that got me thinking, like, all right, so how strong was it in the first place? Or is he really, like, I mean, I wouldn't go through the divorce process just to be independent. Unless you're really doing so. You feel me? Like, I just see marriage a bit deeper than that. I feel like we could work through that. That's just me overthinking a little bit, but whatever. In regards to the whole man carrying the heavy lift, like, if he makes more, like me personally, if I was me, I wouldn't mind shouldering more of the financial responsibility, but if I still require you to pay half, that means that I still might need you to do it. Because if I still require you to pay half, that means that I still can't necessarily carry all of it alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I might. How about you just pay for this? You take care of the smaller bills, and I'll take care of the bigger bills, and we could do like a 75-25 thing as opposed to 50-50.
So you'd still insist?
I mean, well, yeah, I would still insist that, like, for something. That's only if he can't, like, can he manage it all by himself just because he makes double his salary? Also, it depends on what their salaries are, too. Like, or what's their financial situation? Do they have a home? Do they have an apartment? Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, would you rather have me take care of all your bills and we live in a one bedroom, or we go half and we're in a house?
I would take the house.
They go half, right? Because that your half it could lead us to something greater, but for both of us. Or you could hang your hat on you're supposed to take care of me, but I could only pay for so much. So now we're both living in this basement. But I got everything though. Like, I'll take care of everything. But you know what I'm saying? Everybody's situation is different. If I'm making like 5 times, honestly, personally, if I was a millionaire, I probably wouldn't have you pay any bill. Probably, I don't think so.
But the focus was that he was insisting on her.
That means he probably can't. That means he probably can't afford everything himself.
What if he was the type of man that could afford it?
Well, if he could afford, but he just. So let's say. So you're saying that he has the money to pay for everything, but he just wanted to pay for something just because she's living there.
Because his plan was that we have to go half. You contribute, I contribute.
All right, well, go ahead, bro.
I think I'm going to go with what Sebastian is saying, too. There could be underlying reasons that we don't know about, right? Like, maybe he was paying everything before, and she was blowing her checks on red bottoms. Like, maybe she was running up and just shopping her check away, or just doing whatever with it. But, like, maybe that led to him being like, well, you know what? How about you start paying half the bills then? If you're not going to be fiscally responsible with your money that's coming in, like, maybe you need to do something else with it instead. Like, put it towards the bills, and then your extra money, do whatever you want with that. But the bill money, we're going to just split it half and half. I mean, that could be a situation, too.
Or, yes, that's true. Or it could be a situation where this man is just like, yeah, you should pay half. Like, in that same way, people think in marriage everything is 50-50, which is not, right? Like,
you don't think so?
Yeah, because I cook all the time.
Exactly. Like, but again, it's based off of who you are as a couple, right? So, yeah, Jeff cooks 98% of the time. So, he's 98, I'm 2. But that works for us, you know? But then when it comes to the girls, as far as, like, time spent, for me, it's, like, 90 and he's 10. But that's just the way
it works.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue where if somebody from the outside who has that same sort of 50-50 mentality looking in is like, oh, your wife never cooked for you. It's like, well, this is the arrangement that works for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Are there times where I just up and decide that I want to cook something? Sure. Does it happen once a season? Yeah, more than likely, as opposed to like once a week.
Right.
You know, so I think if he is that kind of person who's like demanding some sort of standard, then I think that is a problem. But if it is a situation where like what you guys are talking about, where maybe there's something else going on there, then
no, yeah, and I think to your point, which I agree with, I think that because I think so marriage, I think we should stop looking at it as like 50-50 from a numerical standpoint and from 50-50 from an overall percentage standpoint, meaning like he has 98% of the cooking, she has 98% of the kids. That balance creates 50%.
Yeah.
Because he does more there, she does more there. So that's 50%. You do more of the cooking. I do more of like some other stuff. I don't know, trash and
other stuff that
okay, think about the stuff that you just don't do in the house, like trash or I don't know, other little stuff that I'll just do. But you have your things that you just normally do. We have our things that we just don't touch, and the other person does because we know that person's gonna handle it. Like we have those things going on in our marriage,
and it's agreed upon. Like that's
yeah.
The thing
To this
too.
point, it's agreed upon at this point. But I think that that's where the 50-50s are coming into play, and not in regards to like, okay, listen, I took out the trash Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You gotta do it Tuesday, and
Right.
like you know what I'm saying. Like, we don't gotta. I'm creating that is gonna be too stressful. Like I'm cool with like okay, how about snow? Like you'll never touch snow. I will shovel snow all the time, probably forever. Like that's just how that's gonna go, which is fine. I don't mind doing it. But like then you won't mind. I don't know what you doing stuff you know what you be doing. I mean, you know what you be doing. You know, whatever. We're not gonna do it. Anyway, but all the stuff that you do that I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like
contributes to the overall well-being of your household.
Exactly. Yes. Overall well-being of the crib. Like that's and that is where the 50-50 comes into play. Not into every little particular thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's how most marriages could work. But it all depends on the agreement that you guys have in your marriage. So
I think you both touch on something that was very key to this actual situation. I think it really depends on the agreement that they had. And if they really had a solid agreement. I think that there are women who have a plan that you are going to take care of me. And then there are men who are kind of like, we need to sort this out because I'm not about that life. You know what I mean? And I think there was a shift. And I think that, there was underlying factors that we don't know about. And I think we also have to define what the twice as much was, right? Because the twice as much could have been $3,000 or $300.
What if she made 20 and he made 40?
You know, like it was just like he's still gonna be struggling. So it was just like, I don't know. I just felt like the key part was just like you guys didn't commit or you didn't make a plan and you just had assumed this was going to be what it was. And so if you want to just be by yourself and pay your own bills and not have to deal with the drama, then that's what you choose to do. That's just your prerogative.
I didn't think it warranted divorce, but I mean that's why I feel like that's probably something more serious. I mean, granted, I know money could be like one of the major. It's like one of like top two, like one of the major reasons for divorce, something like that. Like it's money, right? Yeah. So I mean, I do get that, but this particular situation, they could have handled that. But there's way more to that. There's so much
many layers.
You can unpack this so many different ways.
For me, I wouldn't leave. I would just have to restructure this plan, because I just feel as though if you're making $1 million and I'm making 500 and you're still insisting that I have to put in half.
But if they're making $500,000, like, I mean, you don't mind, you have a problem paying half?
I feel like I have the problem with the insisting part.
So do you feel like you should choose to pay what you want?
No, I don't think I need to choose to pay, but I'm just like, dang, if I miss, because we have higher bills now. It's not just gonna be like regular salary bills. So I know that we're gonna be working on some high numbers. So if I miss this or I can't do it this month,
$500,000 is a lot of money to make.
Yes, sweetheart, but
so you should, if you're missing,
we don't know what those people are dealing with.
Their lifestyle.
The lifestyle is expensive.
Well, that's true.
So if I say, babe, I can't have it, something happened with my family and I had to cover this and this, that, and the third, and you're telling me, no, you got to do this, and I don't care what you're dealing with. That's a problem for me.
Well, yeah, if that's how he was coming, if he was like disrespectful about it, then yeah. See, like I'm gonna say that there's so many different reasons why you would end the marriage for it. It's because of all the stuff he could have been doing in between. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how was he telling her you need to pay half? Like, was he being demeaning with it? Was he being disrespectful?
Even if you were to say, I need you to pay half, and you know that half is not coming, but you're making it a requirement, that's a problem for me. It doesn't matter how you said it. It's what you're insisting on.
No, okay,
if you could actually cover that half, why are you not covering that half, husband?
That's if he could actually cover the half.
But you can. You're making twice as much.
But you gotta know what the situation is. What if he's like, yo, I need you to pay your half because this
I got child support from the other kids.
That has nothing to do with me. Like, you need to figure that out.
But you're married to me. That's the situation.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true. That's
definitely true. But I mean, it just depends.
I don't know.
It depends on what they got with the situation. Unless he really needs her to pay that. You understand what I'm saying? Unless he really, because like if I don't have your half, then I can't make
from the $1 million.
We don't know how much. We don't know what this money is. Like we don't know.
I'm just not gonna be like
it really
breaking my back to. If you really insisting, I mean, we just gonna have to miss this bill. Like, it's not that deep. Like, you cannot put that pressure on me. and you're making twice as much. But then again, we can't count each other's
It just depends.
finance episode, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Those are our thoughts on this. Do you guys want to get into the verse of the week? And you guys, do you want to do the honors of reading the verse of the week?
Yes.
Do you guys prefer a certain version?
Yeah, you have a certain translation y'all usually like.
King James.
King James. The King James.
I like easy to read, but it's all good.
So our verse of the week, Proverbs 13, verse 20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And that's the word of the Lord, y'all.
Would you like to dive into that? Our preacher of the night?
Oh, God. I mean, it don't get no clearer than that. You don't need English Standard Version for this one. Like,
I guess.
you walk with wise men and you'll be wise. I mean, it's just, it's very self-explanatory. I mean, the people you surround yourself with is important. I mean, we teach our kids that from very young, and it continues all through your life. Like who you surround yourself with, who you allow in your space, who you give your ear to, and vice versa. Even when it comes to like energy and stuff like that, like in our house, we always talk about like our house is peaceful and we like to keep it that way. So if somebody's coming in and they're disrupting that peace, like that's a problem. So in terms of like just having wise people around you, I mean, and in the context of marriage, like you need that because that's going to make you wise for sure.
Just one thing my dad always told me was, if you hang out with 10 broke people, 9 broke people, you're bound to be the 10th.
You're going to be the 10th.
And if you hang out with 9 rich people, you're bound to be the 10th.
It is.
So, I mean, whoever you surround yourself with, you will begin to emulate them.
Your circle is important. Circle is important.
Yep.
And by the words of the late, great Nipsey Hussle, if your circle, what do you say? If your circle does not, hold up.
You give him a second.
If your circle does not inspire you, that's not a circle, it's a cage.
There you go.
That is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
Word. And speaking of wise, though, what's the other thing? You know, like you should never be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
find a
like,
different room. Yeah.
you know, I feel like a lot of times people like to be the head of their friend group or whatever, or the smartest or the whatever-ist. And it's like, no, be smarter than me. Teach me something so that I can like step up my game to where you are. I think for whatever reason people get intimidated by people who are more advanced in whatever area. But
No,
you
should
you need that.
Yeah.
You should need that.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's awesome. I think that's why I asked so many questions.
Me too.
Too much pressure.
Ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. Like, school me. Like, what's going on? Like, what?
Yeah,
And then you
like
said
that.
this.
You've been like that forever.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Forever.
All right. So, I think that sums it up. That seals the deal. Are you ready for the benediction, y'all?
Somebody's yawning, so I guess I said yes.
I already yawned like 80 times.
Seal this couple's night. Thank
Amen.
you guys for coming on.
Yes.
We really
Of course.
appreciate you.
For having us.
Yes.
I hope it was
absolutely.
fun.
After we get off here, we're going to have to set a date, okay?
All right.
Facts.
Real couples
And really do
night.
this.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, bless Sebastien and Claushelle, Jeff and Naja. Bless the listeners. May they be at peace, find joy, and always seek you first. Thank you for this opportunity once again to glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And that brings us to the end of season 1 of the Francois Podcast. This was the season finale. We appreciate all of our listeners, everybody that's tuned in from episode 1 to this current episode 14. We're going to work on a couple of things and bring y'all some new exciting content. Over the next, we'll let y'all know when we come back, but we're going to work on some things to make this more special for y'all. But we appreciate all our listeners, all the plays,
Thank you.
all the followers, everybody that showed love. We appreciate the support, every single listen, no matter what. I don't care if you jumped around from episode to episode. Or what,
And still catching up,
if you
that's
didn't
all
do
right.
it in sequence, don't care. Any listen, we appreciate. So, and we're going to keep keep it rocking and keep it. We're gonna keep this moving.
And thanks again to our special guests, our lovely, wonderful accountability couple, our friends, our family, the Mortons.
Yes.
Thank you
First
again,
official
and
guest.
again. And you guys pretty much set the bar, so
Thank you for having us.
we can't wait
you.
for the future. And so that's it. We're signing off. Have a blessed week.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night.
And we out of here.
Later.